All right, welcome back on KCMO Talk Radio. It is good to be here on a beautiful, although another warm day across Kansas City. We are here in Gladstone for Back the Blue Tour number 2. Happy to be here, although it's been a busy morning, unfortunately, for the Gladstone Police Department. If you haven't seen the news, heard the news, you heard John mention it there on the news. Gladstone with an officer-involved shooting this morning that has left one suspect dead, the officer suffering minor injuries. And we're happy to welcome on and say good morning to Captain Bryan Boydston. He's joining us on KCMO Talk Radio. Bryan, thanks for being here. Appreciate the time. I know you were out there at the scene, so it's already been a long morning for you. What can you tell us in terms of what took place this morning?
Yeah, thanks for having me on,
and
first of all.
Pull that a little closer. There you go.
Thanks for having me on, first of all. About 3:20 this morning, officers were dispatched to a senior living apartment complex on a report of car prowlers. When they arrived on scene, the officers encountered some suspects. One of them was able to flee on foot and get away. They apprehended one, and then the third suspect attempted to flee in a vehicle. He got into an altercation with our officer who was trying to keep him from fleeing the scene. A struggle ensued inside the car. Our officer ended up being dragged through the parking lot, and at that time our officer shot the suspect 2 to 3 times, I believe. Immediately rendered aid to the suspect after that happened until EMS could get there. That officer was treated for minor injuries at the scene and released at the scene for investigation purposes, and the suspect was transported to an area hospital where he was pronounced dead at the scene.
Now, you've been on the department for almost 30 years, right?
I'm in my 29th year.
29th year. So you were saying this is the first officer-involved shooting since 2016 here in Gladstone?
2016, the end of 2016.
Wow. So, I mean, you grew up here as well. We were just talking off the air. So you've seen Gladstone, for your entire life, start to finish. The Northland is growing. Clay County is growing rapidly. That's good economically, but that also brings some other things. So how have you adjusted? How have you seen things change over the years with all that?
It's just so much different than it was back when I started in 1994, as we were talking off the air about car prowlers and what they carry now that they didn't used to carry back then. But yeah, it's just changed. Technology's changed. We've had to update a lot of equipment. We've had to add equipment over the years to keep up with the crime rates. One of the things that we have added is there's a company called Flock. I don't know what Flock stands for. I'm sorry about that, but basically what it is it's a stationary license plate reader camera system that you just put indisputably around your city wherever you want them, in areas, high crime areas, major thoroughfares, whatever. And basically what these things do is they read every license plate that passes by that camera.
Wow. So how many of those do you have in Gladstone?
We have, I believe, 12 at this point, just in
and you have them
different areas.
In different areas, but you have them specifically targeted to high crime areas.
Yeah, we have them. Gladstone's small enough. We've got them spread out enough that we've got most of the city covered.
Okay. So, the chief mentioned that this morning, and a couple people called in. They're like, that sounds like 1984. So talk people off the ledge on this, Captain, because people are going to be like, hey, I'm driving down the street, and I got the cops pulling up my license plate. But there's a purpose for this, I would imagine.
There is. Now, the way the cameras work, they don't see inside vehicles. They capture the rear license plate of the vehicle, the make, model. They send us a picture of the car from the back. So we're not seeing inside people's vehicles. We're not seeing what they're doing. We don't know who's in the car driving, whether they're male, female, black, Hispanic, white. Again, it's all from the back of the vehicle.
Okay.
According to the Association of Chiefs of Police, upwards to 70% of crimes committed across the nation, there's a vehicle involved.
Okay.
So
that makes sense.
So one of the main pieces of evidence that we can use is the license plate. Mm-hmm. So these license plate readers capture 95% of the vehicles that pass by the camera. Okay.
So take us through a scenario where having that license plate reader, if you know a crime took place at such and such time, and you go to your license plate reader at a nearby street corner, what are you looking for? What's the how does that work?
First of all, they alert us in real time. Whatever.
Okay.
So let's say I can give you an example.
Yeah.
A week and a half ago, we had a pursuit. There was a carjacking robbery that took place in another jurisdiction. Mm-hmm. That was immediately entered in on the stolen vehicle that was taken in the carjacking. That car, for whatever reason, decided to drive up here through Gladstone. One of our cameras hit on it immediately as soon as it bypassed that camera, that it was a stolen vehicle.
So that your system triggers the other jurisdiction to say, hey, that stolen vehicle just passed through, 67th and Main in Gladstone.
Well, it triggers our own officers. But,
okay.
Other jurisdictions listen to everybody's air,
okay.
So they're going to hear it. But it alerts to all of our officers in the cars on their MDTs like immediately. So in this particular case, the stolen vehicle bypassed one of our cameras. It immediately alerted our officers to the stolen vehicle. We got officers in the area. Pursuit ensued of the stolen vehicle. A short pursuit, we were able to get the vehicle recovered, suspects in custody, and everything worked out, all because of this flock camera system.
Wow. Okay, I didn't.
So it's just
yeah.
that's an example of one thing.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. Bryan Boydston is a captain with the Gladstone Police Department. He's joining us on KCMO. So, how much of it is reactionary with the license plate reader system versus proactive in terms of crime prevention, or is it more of a reactive thing?
Well, with the license plate readers themselves, it's going to be reactive.
Okay.
Because they're, again, as soon as the camera hits on a specific license plate, it alerts the officers, and it alerts us everybody that's got the flock system on their computers, like us in the office. It alerts us too, and it'll show us a picture of the license plate, the vehicle, the location, the direction it's traveling, and then it's just a matter of officers being able to catch up to the vehicle and attempt to make the stop.
Is a carjack, that's a great example, the carjacking, is that the most likely example, or what's something else where that would be helpful?
It depends. You can enter, if you have a missing person, you can enter that. If somebody's just got warrants, you can attach to the license plate whatever you want, whatever information you want to enter. So it's not just for robberies, it's not just for stolen vehicles, it's for any crime that you want to attach to that license plate, and then we immediately get notified.
So if license plate ABC 123 out of Gladstone, that person, if they're in another jurisdiction, would that show up? How does that work? If
the other jurisdictions have this camera system,
okay,
yeah, they will be alerted too, and they're all kind of integrated together. Like if Clay County had them, we could see their cameras, they can see our cameras. So yeah, we can view cameras from any city in the nation.
Is it fairly common are more departments getting these systems?
I believe so.
Okay.
I know around this area, once we got them, and it was kind of funny because when we got these license plate readers, all of a sudden the Highway Patrol and Clay County deputies are kind of hanging around Gladstone a little bit more, waiting for a pursuit to kick up. To help us catch, because we'll chase them so far, and then we'll let the other jurisdictions take them if they get too far. So yeah, it's a great
So they're hanging around Gladstone, though, not to bust the chops of the Gladstone residents. They're hanging around because they know that your license plate reader system could be helpful in them pursuing bad guys.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. So that's why. So it's really good for the safety of the people at Gladstone.
It is. It helps. And another thing about these cameras is it's not just for law enforcement. If a neighborhood HOA wanted to purchase these just to place around their own neighborhood, then they can do that. If a business wanted to purchase a flock camera for that business's entrance and exit, they can purchase a flock camera. So it's not just for law enforcement. It's for neighborhoods. It's for gated communities, HOAs, you name it. And these flock cameras are available to
look at that. I can see them here. Got a $2,500 a camera. One-time installation fee of $150 to $650 per camera. So let's say all in all, $3,000 a camera. That's not terrible.
So they're leased. And
they're leased. Okay.
And which means Flock maintains the maintenance on them. If we need one moved, they come in and do it. Which is another great thing about this is we don't own the cameras, so we don't have to worry about the upkeep, the maintenance. and everything else that comes along with it.
Flocksafety.com. I see. I mean, wow, very cool. Well, Captain, thank you so much. I know it's been a busy morning. You've been up since, 3 a.m. now dealing with this?
Yeah, about 3:30.
Unbelievable. We're grateful for your time. We're grateful for all that you're doing, and thank you for sharing the license plate reader story and system that you guys have, and also hopefully talking some people off the ledge.
Absolutely.
We
Thanks for
appreciate
having
you
me
doing
on.
that.
I appreciate it.
Bryan Boydston, good stuff out of him on KCMO Talk Radio.